Jarmer here, and welcome to the Player Way podcast, where we cover gaming reviews, news, and more. We are here. I just saw what you put in the chat. I love to see it. We got a great episode for you today. We have a lot planned. We are in the heat. We are in the thick of it of gaming. There's just a lot happening. We're just coming off October, which is always like the busiest month in gaming, like every single year. And so yeah. Real quick, I do hear echo coming. I hear myself through your mic.
Are you sure it's not because you're streaming your... Because I also heard your desktop audio through my headphones.
Maybe. Wait, who am I hearing it through? Hang on, wait. Let's see.
Hang on, is that better?
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
All right, welcome to Play Way, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. We're gonna talk about gaming. We have a great show.
Things are fine.
We figured it all out. All right, it's been a minute since Jordan's been on the podcast. It's been a minute since we even did a podcast. But we're here. And like I just said, we're here joined with Jordan, also known as Prater.
What up?
Go follow him. What are your plugs?
Yeah, so I don't really stream all that much anymore. I'd love to get back to it, but I'm just kind of lazy and don't feel motivated most of the time. But, hey, I do have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Prater2321. So I've got one of those. You can hop on there. I've got all my other links on there to my YouTube channel and my X/formerly known as Twitter account that I get a whole whopping 9 views per tweet on. So, stuff's happening over there. So.
Sorry, that was not to laugh at. It was just the way you said it was. That was. Cool.
It's hilarious. Like, there used to be interactivity and stuff, and I don't know if that's just because people purposely don't interact with me, or if just the algorithm with just all the spam has just ruined Twitter. I don't know.
Twitter just sucks. Period. Like,
it does.
It's so awful.
It's not fun.
It is so awful, and we're probably gonna be talking about that a lot this stream, and how Twitter can affect just so many things. But yeah, we got a great show for you. Multiple segments, like we said. We're gonna be talking about recent game reviews. We're gonna be talking about, or not necessarily recent game reviews, our reviews of some recent games that have released. We're gonna be looking forward to a couple games coming out within the month or next 2 months. Then we're going to be covering a couple news topics, and then we have a fun little conversation we're just going to talk about, where I'm not even sure how to word it. I still haven't figured out the correct way to word it. So what I just titled the episode is New Gaming Mindsets. So take it or leave it. But anyway, let's get to it, starting with tradition. Jordan, it's been a minute. And so yeah. I'm going to allow you to just say anything you've been playing within the last, month or two. What have you been playing?
Yeah. So lately, the last week or so, I've been pretty heavily involved in the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time, the Horizon series. I love Aloy. I love the world. I love the gameplay. It's made me already want to get through it and play Forbidden West again. That's just how good it is. Forbidden West, really going back and visiting Zero Dawn, because I haven't played Zero Dawn in a long time. Going back and visiting Zero Dawn after Forbidden West just makes me truly appreciate how much effort was put into making Forbidden West the same game but 10 times better, for so many reasons. The ability to pass time is something that you can't do in Zero Dawn, so you just have to wait for the daytime. The daytime feels to go by super quick too, so it sort of makes you do a lot of stuff in the night, which I don't hate, but there is a part of me that misses the ability to pass time. The glider in Forbidden West makes you really appreciate how awesome that is. There's so many times I get to the top of something and I just it's right there. I could just jump if I had my glider, but it's not. This is Zero Dawn. Yeah. We don't have the glider yet. But the game is so beautiful. It's so gorgeous to see everything redone again. And I could geek out about Horizon forever. But then I've also been playing Persona 5 Royal or Royale, depending on how you say it, look at it, view it. I've put 20 or so hours into that as well. And it is, I know I mentioned on the stream yesterday that I'd played it, and I think it was Austin or one of them was talking about, oh, added this, but it added other things too. Like it added stuff to Mementos, and it added like additional content to the palaces, and it's just really cool. It's really good. It's like I said, it's definitely hopped up. I didn't get near as far as I did in my original Persona 5 playthrough yet, because that was like over 100 hours. So it's going to be a while probably till I see myself get there again. But I can already tell how much better Royal is. I do miss the original intro. The intro screen, whenever you boot it up and it plays the song and like the anime theme intro, I think the original Persona 5 one was better than the Royal edition. But that's
I've never actually played the original. I've only played Royale, so I don't know.
Well, if you ever get a chance to look at the original like game opening screen for Persona 5 versus Royal, I'd be curious to know how you feel about the comparison.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, cool. Anything else?
That's pretty much been it, honestly.
Baldur's Gate?
I haven't.
You still playing that?
Really. I have not picked up Baldur's Gate in a while. Ooh. I did try to play it about a week, two weeks ago, and like it was so foreign because I hadn't picked it up in so long. I was like, I don't even know where I am. I don't know what my goal is. I don't like. I'm not in touch. I'm not in touch with any of my playthroughs on it, so I don't know like what my game plan was.
I feel that.
So like I just kind of felt lost and didn't want to like screw anything up. So I was like I'm like tempted to start a new game. I don't need to do that right now. So I ended up just turning something else back on. So
I feel that when you go to a big game like that just has so many things, and you're like halfway through like a run or something, you're like I just feel so out of like this save. Like I just want to start fresh. Like it's so it's rough.
Yeah, like I don't want to give up on it.
Right.
I definitely, because I haven't played it in like 2.5, 3 weeks, I definitely don't want to screw anything up, because if I miss like a side objective that I'm doing and I end game it, it's like, well, now I can't go back. It's like, now I'm gonna hate myself for it. But I can always just play it again and do it in a different playthrough. But like there's one that I really want to do like everything in it. Like I want to fine tooth comb everything that I can, and Astarion's like in-game story where you fight in Cazador's palace is so hard, and like I'm on like easy basic difficulty. Like I don't think I'm on just story mode. I don't think I might be. I don't know. It's a difficult game for me. But like I'm just on basic story. I'm fully leveled up. Like I kind of feel OP in a lot of it, but like Cazador's palace has kicked my ass like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been crazy, but yeah, it's still really good, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait to get back to it. But I've been a little preoccupied with other things and just trying to relive my experiences with Aloy, because she's like top 3 game character for me. So,
ooh, just game character in general.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That's a fun topic we should do in a podcast one day. Top characters. That would be fun.
That'd be fun. How we feel about main characters in games and who we are. Yeah. Does it have to be specific ones that, like without character
I kind of want to do that like now. You know what? Abort the whole podcast plan. We're doing no. No.
Give me a minute. Let me.
Yeah. Maybe in the coming weeks for sure. We'll definitely do that.
No.
Cool. But all right. Is that it for you?
Yeah. That's all right.
So
I've been watching a lot of old Disney Channel movies. I haven't been playing much games.
Hold up.
Much at night. I've been watching old Disney Channel movies. This is a gaming podcast, so we don't have to get into it.
Well, now that you said it,
I've been going back and watching Disney Channel movies of my youth. So I'm old.
Okay.
To anyone who couldn't tell, I'm 33. So I am.
How old am I? I'm
21.
No, I'm not 21. I think I'm 20.
You're 20, right?
Yeah, I'm 20. Yeah. You get the point. All right. Anyway, so what I've been playing, obviously last week, Dragon Age Veilguard released. Finished that in like 3-4 days.
You did.
I put like 30+ hours into it. Into my first run through. I'm easily planning on doing. I'm hoping to just do a run through, one with each class. That's my goal, but like that's obviously a lot of hours. So like,
do you think you'll want to commit to like a 100%er playthrough?
I don't think so.
No.
And we'll get into that when we start talking about Dragon Age more in depth. Because
Sure.
I've yet to do a review on the game. I've yet to do a review on
Right.
the game. I've
Right.
pretty much sat on the game for a full week, so I pretty much know where I'm at with it now. And so Loki, like, this podcast is going to be my review. I'm literally just gonna record that segment of this review and just edit that and post that as my review, because
Fair.
it's just such an interesting game to talk about. But so I've been playing Dragon Age. Yeah, put 30 plus hours into my first playthrough. Beat it from start to finish. I did buy the collector's edition for it. Loki, tell us a funny joke real quick.
Okay. So there was a guy and he was taking a bath, right? And he was kind of stressed out, but anyway, his wife walked in and he was like, "Hey, can you hand me that hairdryer?" And she was like, "What do you think I am, a toaster?"
I'm sorry, what? What just happened? Hold on. Wait. I don't get it. I'm so confused. What?
Right. So there's this guy. He's taking a bath. He's kind of stressed out. That's why he's taking a bath. But anyway, his wife walks in, and he's like, "Hey, can you hand me that hairdryer?" And she's like, "What do you think I am, a toaster?"
All right. Well, we're gonna move on from that.
And what's gonna happen if she hands him a hairdryer, and he's in water?
Oh, he's gonna electrocute.
Right. What do you think I am, a toaster? Because it would toast him.
I see. Interesting.
It's a thinker.
Oh, it's for sure a thinker. That's for sure. All right.
Dude,
Well,
I
anyway.
learned that joke in like 5th grade. That joke is so old.
All right. Well, anyway. So yeah, I did buy the collector's edition for Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Yeah.
You guys can see the box right there.
With your plug-in sword.
with my plug-in sword. For those of you who are very confused.
Did you notice that the box says charging cable not included?
But there is a charging cable.
Right.
So they lied.
They did.
That's
False
hilarious.
advertisement.
That's
We
hilarious.
should sue.
All right. Here is the blade it comes with. It is very
It is very cool.
It is very awesome.
You should have turned all your lights off and then turned it on.
Oh, you're right. But I would have to get up and go walk all the way over there. I don't feel like doing that.
It's called effort.
No. But anyway, there's other stuff in there. I'm not going to be bothered to pull all that up.
Just post your bathroom pictures on Twitter. And link your Twitter.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, was very excited for the game. Not gonna get into the review yet, but happy to say did not disappoint. But yeah, another game I've been playing this week is a lot of Call of Duty. Been playing the multiplayer.
I saw you were playing that yesterday.
Yeah, been playing the zombies. Played a little bit of the campaign, not very much.
You doing it through Game Pass?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. Yep. It is fantastic. Easily one of the best Call of Duties in a long time. I think the argument is I think there's an argument for top 5, and I know that's like wild, but I think the argument's there.
Have you played the story?
Yes, I've played a little bit.
Is it good?
It is
What you have
very
played?
good. It is very good.
Is it?
I'm
Okay.
I'm shocked at how actually quality it seems.
Yeah, I was debating popping Game Pass on for a month or so just to kind of get some time in the game. Plus, like when Warzone integrates to it, I don't want to be left out with like level 1 guns the whole time. So I thought about maybe investing in a month of Game Pass to get some time into it.
Yeah. No, it's worth it. It's so good. Like it's so rare we get a game like this where like it's just the entire package. Like it's got great campaign, it's got great multiplayer, it's got great zombies, and it's just so fun. It really is. So
Nice.
highly recommend Black Ops 6.
Stuff I've watched seems fun.
Yeah.
The zombie seems really fun.
Oh yeah. I think it's probably my favorite part of it. I think maybe I don't know. It's up for debate. And then the other thing I've been playing this week is Planet Coaster 2 just released today. And I did a 9-hour stream pretty much playing this game, which you may think that is a lot. That's low-key very little compared to like...
He built like 3 things.
I did. Well, like, no, facts. Like, so for those of you who don't know, Planet Coaster 1 is... wow, the fact that I have to say 1 now is just mind-blowing to me. Planet Coaster 1 is like my most played game of all time. Like, when I calculate my hours... not just on PC, but also PlayStation and also on Xbox. Yes, I have the game like on every single platform. It's like well over like 1,000 hours. Like it's well over just so many hours, an absurd amount of hours. And so from what I've put into Planet Coaster 2 right now, it is a mere fraction. It's nothing compared to what will end up being. But I definitely have a lot of thoughts on that, and that's where we're gonna just go and start our first topic, where I'm gonna be giving you my first impressions on Planet Coaster 2, because this is like easily one of my most anticipated games of all time.
Yeah, you've been hype on it for a minute.
I have been hype on it because I didn't think it was possible. Like, I knew it was possible, but I didn't think it would actually happen because the first one was so successful, had so much DLC. It was still, like, just had such a strong community that I didn't think they would just fully transition into a second one, but they absolutely did. And
I did hear one of your comments today that I agreed with from the first game, but you agree with on this one. So that'll be fun to talk about, I guess.
What?
While you were playing it, Dave. You were asking, someone asked you how it was, and you were saying that you played it on PS5 and it was cheeks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes.
So you played it well because when I turned you on, wow, Paul. When I turned your stream on, okay. When I turned your stream on,
that's crazy.
I noticed you were playing with a mouse. And I was like, ooh, yeah. Okay. He bought it on PC. I was like, because I tried to play the original one, and playing it on controller is infuriating. I was like, if I could ever get a chance to play this on PC, I bet I would thoroughly enjoy it because it's a game built for mouse and keyboard. It just is.
Yes.
I could tell by playing the original one for like 30 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I noticed you're playing, and then someone asked you, and you were saying that, yeah, it was just like cheeks to play on PS5, and it was so much better on PC. And I was like, see, I thought that about the first one.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, so, yeah, so I go into this, and it's quite the funny story. Low-key, it was a rocky start. Like, it really was. Like, to the point where, like, I was debating just, like, stop playing for a little while. Because I was so frustrated and, like, just... not feeling it, where I was like, I don't know, like I kind of want to just go play some zombies in Black Ops 6 right now, you know, like but the reason for this is I originally bought it on PS5 and I still have it on PS5. Yeah. And the reason I bought it on PS5, number one, which this is where I will disagree with you a little bit. Well, first of all, I 100% agree. It's built for keyboard and mouse. It is a keyboard and mouse first game 100% of the way. But I actually really enjoyed the first one on console.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I remember us talking about that because I was like, dude, I tried to play Planet Coaster. I was like, I was awful with it. Then you were saying like, I don't know, I like it. Like,
yeah, and
like, yeah, we had completely different thoughts about it from the first one.
And so I didn't think it would be that different. Like I figured like I would just be completely like good with all the controls. It would just be a whole bunch of new things about the game. And so I got on PS5 and I start playing. Well, this is the biggest surprise for me with Planet Coaster 2. It's not what I expected. It is the same game, but everything works differently. Like, the building paths work differently. You now have to power everything up with electricity. You now have like way more staff options. You have to like use water filters for all your pools. You have
so they
to like
SimCity'd it.
The game is way more of a simulation now than it is just like go crazy with coasters. Like they really took every system in place, multiplied it by like 3, and they added in new systems on top of what was already there. And all the menus did different. Like I expected the exact same UIs, just some more like added to them. No, the UIs are completely different. Settings are completely different. Controls are completely different. And so when I loaded into console, I was like so confused, and I was asking so many questions from somebody who's put in over 1,000 hours in Planet Coaster 1. I had to go to the tutorial. I literally had to go to the tutorial of Planet Coaster 2 because I was like, I just don't understand. Like, what am I doing wrong to, like, this feels so, like, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything right. And one of the biggest issues for me, on console specifically, the paths. The pathing is the most, and I still can't think of the right word for it. It is the most fidgety, janky thing on console. It was frustrating me to the absolute full. I could not make a straight line. I just could not do it. I could not do it for the life of me. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't, like, this is just not fun. I cannot build a park that I want to build with these controls and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it on PC as well. I have Planet Coaster 1 on every console. I might as well just go ahead and start with Planet Coaster 2. I bought it on PC. I loaded it up on Steam. Automatically, it felt 10 times better. Like, automatically, it felt 10 times better. And it was then that I was like, okay, here we go. 2.5 hours later, here we go. And what's really funny, though, is even though I was so, like, frustrated on PS5, everything I was seeing and everything that, like, it was telling me I could do, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, oh, that's awesome. Like, oh, that's really neat. It's just, okay, how do I do that without it being so janky? So once you go on PC, though, it is 10 times better. But no, like, what I was saying is the game really does feel different while still being what Planet Coaster is. Like, it's the same building ride aspect of it. It's just there's way more statistics. There's way more things you have to think about. There's way more things you have to do in order to make an actual running park, to the point where it completely switches your strategy and everything on how to build it. And I said, one thing I said while starting this is I was shocked that they're even doing a Planet Coaster 2. Like, right. Why would they take the community? Why would they take all the content and transition all of that into a sequel? That just, it didn't really make sense to me.
It's already a W game for you, so, like, where's there to go?
Right. Like, well, that exact sentence is why this game is a thing. They really did transition everything because, and this is kind of another complaint I have about the game, but, like, it can easily be fixed, and I expect it to be fixed, is there is a lot less, like, actual things in the game. So, like, food shops, there is a lot less food shops that you were able to choose from. There is a lot.
You're saying they got rid of the restaurants or whatever.
Yes, they got rid of restaurants. They got rid of a bunch of food shops. They got rid of a bunch of scenery themes. So, like, there is no more pirate theme. There is no more spooky theme. There's no more sci-fi theme. It's all completely new themes. And so,
oh wow,
it really is like it's the same game, but with completely new systems and completely new objects and rides. So it's like, okay, now I see why it's a sequel, because it's all completely new stuff. It's not just them Overwatch 2ing it and just adding on top of the same thing and just keeping everything else the exact same. They changed almost the entire game, except for its core gameplay. That's the only thing that is similar, like its camera angles and everything. And so that's like my biggest thing. And I think the only reason that it's not like a 10 out of 10 for me right now, it's a personal issue. The fact that I was not expecting a learning curve, and that there currently is. because I was so just looking forward to hopping in there and just building the greatest park of all time. And that's not exactly what I've been able to do at the moment because I'm learning everything. So, but I imagine when I get like 100 hours in, it'll be a 10 out of 10 for sure. Like everything's amazing. When they start adding DLCs, it's gonna be amazing.
I mean, mods probably.
Mods
too,
is
I'm
gonna
sure,
be
so.
amazing. Once the community starts building things and adding them to the online workshop, it's gonna be
Mods are gonna
awesome.
bring all them themes back.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also
and some.
And also the fact that this time it launches on console, PC simultaneously, and everything's cross-platform as well. And there is online capabilities where you can actually invite friends to also build in your park. The only caveat there is you can't build with your friends at the same exact time. So let's say like me and you decide, okay, you're gonna join. In this case, what's new in the game is called franchise. You don't just build one park. You start a franchise and you have multiple locations. And so you can add a friend to your franchise. And if I say I'm gonna go run to McDonald's, you can hop on my park and like can continue our work. Or if I'm just offline not playing, you can hop in our park and play. Or I don't know, you might even be able to just work on a whole separate park within our franchise.
I was gonna say, like, can you have like, could we be in the same setup?
Maybe
like,
I think so because what also is in this game is there is leaderboards. There's online leaderboard. Like you can actually compete with everyone else, like to have the best success, earn the most money, get the highest park ratings and stuff like that. And that's so interesting. And it really just solidifies the idea that this is a sequel. This is not just let's do it again. Let's do another one is what they're saying. And I really love that, and I just can't wait to get back into it. But nah,
let's take our baby and just point it in a different direction.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And the whole addition of water parks adds so much, like to the point.
I didn't know there weren't water parks in it originally. That's cool.
Yeah, like I almost think they focused. I think the water aspects of this game are more focal point than the non-water stuff, which is crazy. Like they have such a focus on the water park and stuff. It's wild. But yeah, like there's so many different biomes now. There's so many different like things. Like whenever you're choosing where to even build your park, depending on like what country.
As far as like the environment.
Yeah, depending on what country you end up building it in, there's like different effects and different starting cash and research points. Yeah, researching is a whole like big new thing. Instead of just like clicking on research and you have to wait for 5 minutes, you actually have to build workshops within your park to then have a staff earn you research points to then unlock new rides and shops and stuff like that. There really is just so many new systems in place on top of just the core gameplay. It really is so fun. Just my only caveat, get it on PC. I will attempt to play it on console again eventually when I've learned everything and it's not like what is going on with these janky controls. It's okay, I know what's going on, just with these janky controls, let me figure it out now. But like it is so good. It is so good, and I'm sure it's gonna be in my top 10 favorite games of all time just because it's just the first one, but way more.
Right.
In some case less because of just like the themes and some of the shops. There aren't as many, but with DLC, that's gonna go away easily. I personally hope there are DLCs where they add some of the original theme. Like I want a pirate theme. I want a sci-fi theme. You know, like I want to be able to have that option. But if they decide we just want to do completely new stuff, I'm all for that as well. Like the themes in this one, I would have never thought they would have even done themes like that. There's mythology, there is Subnautic, there is Viking, and there is
I did hear you say Viking.
You
said you were going to do
and
Viking.
There's Resort, which Resort is really interesting. It's like a complete tropical like Hawaii type thing, and I'm like, so interesting. Like they really got creative with this entry's themes, and I really like that. I just wish there were more, and I wish there were the original ones as well, because like the original one has
I was gonna ask, do you think there's a couple of things content wise, because I feel like carrying over at least like the themes would have been cool. Like,
Yeah,
maybe don't give us everything the first, like you said, like it's not just tacking on to more. But I
right.
was gonna ask, like I was gonna specifically ask you, like, do you think there's a couple things content wise? Because I feel like just improved maybe on the themes
Yeah, yeah,
of the originals, like tacked on with the new ones. Like the
yeah.
game's already kind of bigger, so
Hmm.
why necessarily remove everything? But
Right. Yeah. That's like the only thing that I think would be a big downside for you to not get Planet Coaster 2 yet is there is just currently less options in terms of like different theming. But
right,
the good thing about this game is one of the new features when it comes to building, which is literally game changing, is you can literally customize any ride. Whereas like so for instance, in the first one you would pick a coaster and you can add trees and decor and scenery around the ride to make it look like it fits into a pirate theme. Whereas now in Planet Coaster 2, I can place down the exact same coaster, but I can actually customize the coaster itself, the rails, the car, the train, to look like a pirate ship boat if I wanted to. So like
so
you
the themed stuff couldn't be edited in the original. Is that what I'm gathering?
kind of. So let me explain it this way. If I placed a carousel in the original,
Okay.
there would basically be a restriction. Like if I wanted to place a tree next to the ride, it could not intersect with the ride. Like it would show up red
Mm,
because it would like collide with the ride or whatnot. Whereas
gotcha.
now
Okay.
you can add like rocks and trees onto the ride itself.
Okay.
So in other words, you could take any piece of scenery and attach it to the actual ride, and not have the whole it's gonna collide with the ride. You can't place it. You can now place
Right.
anything anywhere.
Okay, that's cool.
So, it's just it is a game changer. But highly recommend. It is awesome. I'm gonna look into that question if we can be a part of the same franchise and work on two different parks at the same time, because that could be
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to learn that. But all right, my headset is running low on battery, so I'm gonna have you talk about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered while I charge it for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But let me know, like, cause I'm also curious myself, like, how different is the remaster? Like, how much of a visual improvement is it? And like, have they added any other content? Like, I'm very curious. Just what are your overall thoughts of Horizon Zero Dawn remastered?
Okay. So I will definitely say that the new voice acting on it is 100% incredible. They didn't. I think they skipped a few parts of the editing with the subtitles because a couple of the subtitles are off compared to what is actually being said. But just some of the deliveries with the voice acting, you can tell, is just put a lot of effort into that. And that being redone, hearing Lance Reddick's voice again just makes me kind of sad that he's gone. But visually, the game looks like Forbidden West now. The original game did look so good, but if you actually go back and look at side by side comparisons with like the facial features, the little fine details in the faces and the facial expressions and the way that people talk, I mean, you could just tell that the effort was there for the people that truly love this franchise. I know there's sort of like a stigma around like who was really asking for this and all this effort of putting stuff into this whenever we could be doing something else. And it's like, you know what? Let Guerrilla do what they want. They're a company that cares about the people that love their games and someone who absolutely adores their games. This is exactly something that I wanted to see come from them. Of course, I want the next game, but going back and seeing this game look like Forbidden West, which to me is visually just one of my favorite games on the planet, Forbidden West, seeing this game with the Forbidden West touch of the way it looks, the way it feels. The gameplay is still a little clunky compared to the Forbidden West one, so like it didn't lose its charms there. The difficulties of sort of getting stuck on like small rocks and stuff was still there. She kind of glides a little bit more effortlessly in Forbidden West compared to Zero Dawn. But to me, that's just sort of the charms of the game. It really gives you a perspective of, yes, you're better, and so is Aloy. Everything that she does is cleaner and smoother and improved in Forbidden West, so you're really just experiencing it visually. They didn't really add a whole lot of extra content. Everything is already fully fleshed out as it needs to be. Everything is there. I will say I enjoy hearing about the Forbidden West, not Forbidden West, but like the Frozen Wilds stuff into it, because I played the game originally and then played Frozen Wilds like after it was released, so I didn't play it as like a flawless effort. So you actually learn about the introduction into the Frozen Wilds like pretty early on into the game, and they even like hint towards it and give you a couple of missions in it based off of like where you are in the map. I didn't realize like how sort of in touch you could be with it only like 10-12 hours into the game, even though it suggests you don't go there till you're level 30. So it's just cool to go back and like revisit it all. I think it really is just sort of the experience of it, not so much what did they change. I mean, like I said, visually it does look great. Aloy's face is, gorgeous, obviously. But seeing it with just the love of effort that was what they did with Forbidden West is really cool. It's the exact thing I wanted from this game. So, personally,
That's awesome. Like, I think this is gonna be a really weird comparison, which you are gonna hate the fact that I'm gonna do it. So bear with me for a second. I almost feel like, because now this is what, the third game that's kind of gotten the same treatment, where it's like Last of Us Part 2 remastered, the Until Dawn remake, things that everyone keeps saying is like, why are they doing this? Like, we don't need this, until we get it and we're like, okay, there is actually something there. It's just maybe not important enough for a lot of people. Right. Yeah. And so the thing I'm comparing this to just so happens to come out tomorrow, which I just realized is another topic we need to cover on this podcast. The PS5 Pro comes out tomorrow. And to a lot of people, they're asking the same question. Why is this a thing? What's the point? Is this even important? And the answer, bottom line, whether you think it's a good price point, whether you think it is or anything, at the end of the day, it is going to be the best way to play console games. Yeah, it will just be the most powerful way to play. And that's the same thing with this Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Did we necessarily need it? No. Did people want it? That's up for debate, depending on the person. But at the end of the day, it is now the definitive way to play Horizon Zero Dawn, and it is an improvement. Whether you think it's worth it or not, it is an improvement. And I think that really just depends on the consumer. And I think a lot of people need to realize not every product should be for everybody. A product can be directed for specific audiences. Yes. PlayStation knows dang well they're not going to sell blockbuster numbers with Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. They know exactly. No. They know exactly who's going to buy it. They know exactly why they're going to buy it, and they know exactly why they want to even make it. And so
they also made it super accessible too. Like it's a $10 upgrade, just like they did with Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring and everything on there. If you already own the game, all you got to do is rock $10 into your PlayStation.
Oh snap! I'm doing that. I'm doing that tonight. Right. I completely forgot about that.
Like the physical version that costs full. I mean, it's a $60, $77 game. It's a full game. But, you don't have to do that if you own the game already. Like I said, just like they did Ghost of Tsushima and the PS5 remaster of Ghost of Tsushima, incredible. It's awesome. Elden Ring, same way, same treatment. Everything looks great, because you just bumped up for $10 extra. Hell, I think the Elden Ring one was free, even if I'm not mistaken. You just had to own the game. And the FromSoft upgrade was like, you know what? You just bought the game in general. Here you go. But, I paid $10 extra to play Ghost of Tsushima PS5 remaster. I already thought it looked great, but it definitely looked gorgeous. And, again, like it buying it at full price isn't the only option. If you already own Zero Dawn, $10 extra, boom, you get the full experience. And if you didn't play Frozen Wilds, it's included.
Yeah.
So the DLC is just right there.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think this game really deserves any backlash, because there definitely were people backlashing it. Yeah. And I don't think
I am biased. But from a standpoint of it, just like just let it be, you know?
Right. Like, this topic's going to probably come back. If you don't want to play it, if you don't have any interest in it, don't play it. It's that simple. Like,
100%.
there's literally no negative in you just saying, I don't want to play it.
Sure.
You're saving money, you're saving time, which to a lot of people is the two most important things in the world. So it's like,
right.
It's like, where's the negative in saying you just don't want to do it? Like, leave the product and leave the people who want it alone. It's pretty much that simple.
No one's forcing it.
Right. So I'm personally looking forward to trying it out. I definitely don't think I'll play through it all again. Who knows? Maybe I'll just get rehooked. But I definitely want to try it out because I agree with you. Horizon Forbidden West's visuals are still some of the best in gaming today. And Zero Dawn is just a fantastic game as well. So
agreed.
Very, very interested in that. We have another Horizon game coming out very, very soon as well. Lego Horizon.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. What a game that'll be. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Let's talk about, oh boy. You know what? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the most recent big release is Dragon Age of Velgard. So
BioWare,
man. So if you've been living under a rock, this game is totally universally praised. No. This game, low-key, might hold the record for me for the most amount of controversy I've ever seen for a game ever. That's a bold statement.
It's been hefty.
But it's insane how much controversy this game has. And unfortunately, and I've said this for the past year, I'm somebody who the controversy does not get to me. I'm very lucky enough to just have a mindset where I don't care. The problem with this game, and the reason it's hit me very differently, is not just the fact that I really enjoyed the game or the fact that I was really excited for the game. I almost feel like all the controversy with this game isn't even controversy. It's literally unfairness. It's not even it really is just people hating on it. It's not even I don't like the fact that they're taking this direction. There are some people, but majority of it is content creators just hating on it. It's people hating on it when there are clearly other things that, if they're going by that logic, they should be hating on, and they're just not. We'll kind of talk more about that here in a second, but it really it did get to me. It did get to me. There was a point in time where I genuinely was so just mad at just everything. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you probably know my emotions. I was tweeting about it a lot, and it's just a lot of stupid talk around the game. Number one, here's what I'll say. The game, actually, first, let me talk about what I think of the game. All right.
Okay.
We'll do that first. I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Sure.
I think personally, and this is just my opinion, I think the game. See, this is so hard because I've been battling this for a full week. I think I would give the game. Oh.
Sorry, I went out of focus.
I think I would give the game an 8.5.
Ooh, okay.
I think I would give the game an 8.5.
It's a pretty good score.
It is a good score.
It's a pretty good score.
And the reason I give it an 8.5 is because, actually, Jordan was with me on a podcast we did a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago now. We redid our grading scale.
Sure,
and we gave examples of what are games that would have that score. And we gave words to define that number. 10 out of 10 means masterpiece. 5 out of 10 means mid or something. I don't remember what it is. But 8.5's word is really great. And I think that's what it is. I think it's a really great game. 9 is phenomenal. And unfortunately, even as somebody who this game might go down as in my top 50 games of all time, maybe even top 20 games of all time, there are too many issues that even I notice. I don't know if I could say it's phenomenal. I think it's really great and I love it, but I do think there are issues. There are a lot of games in my top 20 that are very flawed games. So just because I don't give something a 10 out of 10 does not mean it can't be one of my favorite games of all time. For instance, Just Cause 4, that game has a whole bunch of problems. It is worse than Just Cause 3, but I just personally love Just Cause 4 way more. And so, you know,
I've never actually played any of the Just Causes.
Man, they're so fun. But here's what I'll say.
I've watched a lot of gameplay on them.
Here's what I'll say about Dragon Age. It is a really great game with issues. It has a really great story. It has really great combat. It has really great visuals. Unfortunately, I think it just has some aspects where I would just say is weaker than it should be.
Right.
The big one here, and here are the issues that I'm going to bring up. I do agree with one of the complaints where sometimes, and keywords sometimes, the writing can be a little bit cheesy, a little bit corny. But here's what I will say, and this is why this is gonna start the whole Twitter conversation. 20% of a game does not mean the entire product is that way. If you watch one or maybe 5 clips of a 30-hour game and you think the whole game is similar to that clip, you are wrong. I would say about like 20% of the game is like kind of cheesy, kind of corny. But the other 80% I think is perfectly fine. I've
heard a pretty similar thing from a few other people I know that have played it.
And
it's like, yes, those moments are there, but there are more better moments than that, that outshine those bad moments. And, you know, depending on, you know, how you really feel about that kind of stuff in the game, like it happens and then it's done.
Right. Yes.
Like
the best way I could describe it is, at the absolute minimum, this game is so good. So great. Unfortunately, there are moments where it just takes a little bit of a dip, but it always goes right back. Like, there rarely are just some moments that are weaker than others. And I find it funny because I would say the game is about 20%, because I think what happens is there are certain characters in the game that have more of those lines in it. And so anytime that character is doing something, sometimes it might take one of those dips. And there are only like eight of those characters in the game. So it's like, you know, that 20%. But that is one of the issues. The other issue, and this isn't even an issue. This is just something that personally drags the game down for me a little bit. I personally didn't find the OST to be very strong. Not to the point where the music was bad. There was just no music that stuck out to me or was memorable. Like, there wasn't even a main theme that, like, I could even catch.
Just kind of placeholder.
Yeah, it's just dramatic music in the background.
Needs really. Music.
Yeah, like, there was no main menu theme.
It's like royalty-free stream music, you know, like half the time
pretty much.
You tune into someone and, you know, they're not bumping anything because they're going to get sued for it, so they've just got something on in the background to fill noise.
Yeah, pretty much. And one of the things... Heart. Yeah, for real. But, like, one of the things that makes me love a game, and something that makes me one of my favorite games of all time, is sometimes not just the game itself. And we're probably going to talk about this when we talk about lessons learned in gaming. A game can be way more than just the game. Sometimes a game can expand into its own brand. Like its own just brand, right? Like when I think Alan Wake for instance, I think of its OST. I think of its collector's edition that I just that's being delivered next month. I think of the live performance that happened at the game awards. I don't just think, oh, what was the first level of that game? What was that level of the game? It's way more than just the product of the game. Mario is the perfect example. There is so much more to Mario than just the games. There's Super Nintendo World. There is like merch galore. There's Legos now. There are so much things outside of the actual product that make a game. And those things kind of encompass that and can make you love a game. When I am driving home from work and I decide, you know what, I feel like listening to some Doom music right now. That just listening to that music makes me go, man, I love Doom. I'm not playing the game. That is a part of its brand. Like that is Doom, and it makes you love that brand more. You know what I mean?
I bump that at work sometimes.
Oh man, let me tell you, right? And so I think sometimes when you think, why do I love this game so much? It may not be just because of the game itself. Sometimes it's just the game's brand, its concept, its idea, its execution, its music, its merch, its cover art on the case, its trailer that you watch. Like it could be so much more than the game itself. And so unfortunately, music is a big part of that. And I really wish there was some music that I would be like, man, I kind of want to listen to that, like on my drive home or something, because I want to experience that, like that moment of, man, I love this game, and I'm not actually even playing it. Like, you know, so I do feel like I kind of wish there was a stronger music selection.
Or even just something that characterized it. You know, not to revert back to, you know, Zero Dawn continuously throughout this, but even, you know, just the whole series, like a lot of the music is sort of gentle, but that girl singing beautifully, that is so good. It's
just like burnt in your brain.
It's simple, but it's so good.
Yeah. And it just leaves a mark in your head.
I'll sit and listen to that on my PlayStation. You know, you tweeted the other day.
Oh my gosh!
You had Planet Coaster booted up, and it was playing that song. When I've got Forbidden West downloaded, I'll sit and listen.
Oh yeah.
To that song that plays.
For sure.
I'll go to sleep with that playing. It's just so pretty and it's so beautiful. And when they combine that with like the trailers and the intros, like I kind of teared up in the beginning of the game when you're hearing that, and it's going through the training montage and it does that iconic shot where Aloy jumps, and then when it transitions, she's grown up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like that again with that music, like connected to that moment was just like, oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
100%.
So like just something to define like the characteristic. It needs it.
Yeah. I agree. And so, you know, that's one thing, but that also, and I'm kind of going to contradict myself, but like not in a way you'll think I'm contradicting myself, but I'm really not.
Open-minded.
Basically, one of the reasons why I do think Dragon Age Veilguard will become one of my favorite games, like top 50, maybe even top 20, is because of that branding idea. Even though the music is not there, the characters, the merch, the collector's edition that I bought, now when I think of Dragon Age, I think of all those things, not just some of the levels, some of the game mechanics. I think of so many things. I think of BioWare. I think of some of the past Dragon Ages. When you go to BioWare's merch store, there are so many Dragon Age merches, and it's just
the quiver is leather, isn't it?
Came with it. It is leather, yeah. And so I do think while I think the game itself is just really great, I just love the world and the concept of Dragon Age the Veilguard so much that I can't help but just feel like, man, I love it so much because I think it's just super interesting, even though the game itself, I think there are some issues.
Does it make you want to play the other ones at all?
Yes, it does. And see, that's another thing, is when you have that effect, it makes you appreciate something more. And
I have thought about trying to play Inquisition before getting into Veilguard, because I've been told by another buddy that knowing Inquisition really helps with like fully understanding where you are in the lore of this one.
I would say, from what I know, because I haven't played, or I've played like a quarter of Inquisition, but not nearly enough to understand.
Sure. Right.
One of the main characters in the Veilguard is Solas, and Inquisition focuses on Solas a lot. Like, so in order to get like an understanding of him, you need to play Inquisition.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, it's completely new characters. There are a couple that come back, but for the most part, it is just Solas that will be the big connection. But now to answer your question from earlier, is this a game that I see myself doing a 100% playthrough?
Yeah.
Even though I said I do want to play through this game at least 3 times, one with each of the three classes, I don't see myself ever doing a 100% or platinum, because my biggest issue with the game is its way of, I would almost say, level design mixed with exploration. I think there's a lot of missions where you can just run to the boss battle. Like you don't have to, like, the puzzles are the most simple puzzles you'll ever see in the world. It's point a laser at this wall, move this block 10 feet to this block. Like, it's super simple puzzles. The collectibles are just your typical, go behind this wall, there's a chest, pick it up, read this note. You don't have to solve puzzles to do it. You don't have to fight like special enemies to do it. It really is just a linear level design. Just, it's a really cool world. But there was no point where I'm like, I kind of want to go explore there. I kind of want to see like what cool loot I can find here, because it was really just straightforward. I don't know if you'll feel the same way. Because also I will say I'm not the biggest like side quest or collectible per person. I have to really love a game in order to feel that way. So if you are on
the game sometimes.
Yeah, but if you are a side quest person or collectible person, then maybe you'll feel different. I don't really know. But for me, that's one thing. I just never felt the urge to do any of that.
Every game I try to do that on is definitely games I love. I don't usually ever just do it for the sake of doing it.
Right. So
at least not since, like when I was younger, I did, because I was a big achievement guy. Like craved the achievements during the 360 days. So like I was a big guy at doing it then. Hell, shoot, I would just go out and rent games just because I heard the achievements were easy.
Yeah.
Like there was a fighting game where you could get like 1,000 gamer score if you played like 2 matches, and then like you were done. And it was like, okay, so I went and did that. So I used to be like that, but yeah, now no, like it's, like I said, I'm kind of fine-tooth combing Baldur's Gate. I do it in Horizon. I do it in Spider-Man because I really love all those franchises, but I definitely don't do it in everything.
Yeah. So. But here's what I'll say, and this will be the final thing I say about Dragon Age before we move on. Is the opening, in my opinion, the opening of the game, the first like hour or two, I think is like a 9 out of 10 opening. It's so good. I think the ending, or the whole middle section, I think is like a 7 to 8 type thing. Like depending on where you are, I think it drops down to 7. I think it goes back up to 8. Sometimes there's like a 9 moment, right? The final 5 hours of this game is 15 out of 10. The final 5 hours of this game, I'm not even going to say it's one of the best endings. I'm not going to say it was goated. It is special. It is just so incredible. Like, you can't help but just love the final 5 hours of this game, because whether you think BioWare has lost their touch or the dialogue is cheesy, it is a one-of-a-kind ending that you can't get in any other studio's game. It is BioWare at its best. The final 5 hours truly is special. And what's so crazy about this entire game is I do think it fluctuates. I think there are great moments, there are okay moments, there are fantastic moments. What I think this game does really well, and that's what really solidified the idea that I love this game, is throughout this week I've been listening to podcasts, I've been listening to reviews, I've been listening to playthroughs, I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff outside of just playing the game. Hearing other people's experiences and thoughts of the game made me appreciate the game more, because they're saying things that their characters did that mine didn't, and I didn't know that they even could do. And I'm like, oh, that makes me like that character more, or that makes me feel differently about this character. And I realize that this game is meant for you to have a personal experience with it. And I really do think this game is really great. What I will say is, don't go into this game thinking it's going to be the biggest RPG of the year. There's a lot of it I don't even think it is an RPG. I consider it more an action adventure game than anything. It treats itself really like an action adventure game, just with some RPG mechanics to it. And I do think that this is more or less you are not Rook. You are customizing a character in the game called Rook. Like, Rook could very well be just an established character in the franchise, not just your custom character, because he is fantastic. He or she, whatever you decide, or they them, whatever you end up deciding, they are fantastic in the role. Like, Rook is probably my favorite character in the whole game, and I very rarely feel that in games where you create your own character. It's always like a side character or something that I end up loving the most. That's because they treat Rook like an established character in this franchise. You are not experiencing your story. You are experiencing Rook's story. It just so happens that you get to choose what he looks like.
What they look like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really good or really bad depending on what you're looking for. But before we leave, this controversy for this game is completely unacceptable. If you have things you don't like about the game, fair. If you have things you're not interested about the game, fair. But saying it's bad because you don't agree on certain things about the game, I don't think is fair. Especially,
a little close-minded.
Yes, especially when there are other games that do the exact same things and you give zero crap about it.
Right.
The biggest example, and this is no hate towards this game, Baldur's Gate 3 is debatably even worse in a lot of these areas that you are complaining about Dragon Age for. It just so happens that you're choosing to hate on Dragon Age, which I do not think is fair. Also, the player count on Steam, where did this debacle come from? Games are around the 80,000s on Steam all the time. It just so happens This is the game where everyone's like, that's considered a failure. It's like, what are we talking about right now? Okay, there are games that blow up, that have breakout hits, that get like 200,000 player count, 300,000, millions of player counts. But I hate to break it to you, those are breakout hits. Not every game is going to be a breakout hit. 80,000? EA said it themselves. It is the biggest single-player launch for an EA game on Steam ever. How is that not a win? I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't understand that. Like, okay, Metaphor, a new IP from a smaller studio, debatably, got more player count. Congratulations. How does that make Dragon Age a failure, though? If anything, that just makes Metaphor an even bigger success. Like,
Right.
and that goes back to something I've said a long time ago: is people choose to focus on the negatives way more than the positives.
That's true.
Like, I really don't understand. And a lot of the bad reviews on this game, I've watched bad reviews. I've watched content creators that I watch on a weekly basis give reviews and saying they didn't like the game. But even in their reviews, they say that you should play the game or actively go out and try and watch other people's reviews because they see this game as a game that people will enjoy. Certain people will enjoy this game. This is not a bad game. This is a game.
Somebody's going to get something out of it.
Right. This is a game that certain people will love and certain people will not. Not every game has to be universally praised. Some games just have to do what it's supposed to do, and I think this game does that. And so I think, again, controversy aside, I think it's just kind of unfair what's happening with the game. It's getting way too much hate. But there are issues about the game as a product that we can't ignore. And, we're bringing to attention that hopefully they fix with the next Mass Effect or whatever they decide to do next, which we know is Mass Effect. So very excited for that. And my biggest recommendation is just play it for yourself and see where you lie. I can't tell you you're going to love it. I can't tell you you're going to hate it. I could just tell you that what I think, and you have to decide for yourself. But yeah, so that's all I got to say on Dragon Age. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk real quick. What are your expectations for Lego Horizon?
So I am kind of ignorant to the Lego games as far as the content. I really didn't play them all that much. I'll be honest with you. It's not really my forte of games to play through. I've played a little bit of the Lord of the Rings ones. I've played a little bit of the Harry Potter ones. My girlfriend loves them. Those are some of the games that are user friendly with her. She's also been playing Astrobot a little bit lately, and so that's been fun. Yeah, I think it's huge for the franchise, personally. I know you and I were talking about this a little bit the other day. As someone who just extremely loves the Horizon franchise, like I said, for me, I don't know if I would call it. It's really close up there for like the two of them together, like being top 3 games for me, like of all time, just personally, because they're just so good and I just love them so much. So I am biased towards it, obviously, but it's really huge for Nintendo. Also, to be able to get in on another PlayStation IP, the first one being the MLB games. The fact that they were also able to do the MLB games before anybody else was, other than Sony, obviously, like that was pretty cool. So being able to see another PlayStation franchise branch off into something that isn't PlayStation, being PlayStation and Nintendo now with the Lego franchise, because look at the Goliaths that I just compared it to with the games, Lord of the Rings, the Harry Potter series. They've done DC, they've done Marvel, they've done so many things. They just made a Pharrell movie, Lego did. Like being tucked in to the Lego franchise for something like Horizon, I think is huge. I don't know if I'm going to play the game right off the bat. It just sort of depends on how I feel about it. But I am pretty ecstatic to see the love that it is getting, because there is a good amount of people that like come into work who are kind of stoked for it, and I'm hearing a decent amount of love for it online. I didn't like the trolling at first whenever it first got announced, people saying it looked better than the original game. No, it doesn't. Shut your mouth. But it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge for the franchise, and I hope it does really well. I hope it does just as successful comparisons as like the Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings ones, because honestly, if it's something that maybe they can make a couple of titles out and make this a fun franchise, especially like an introduction for like kids, maybe to like get it on the Nintendo one, and then like whenever they branch off into like franchises, like whenever they break out into more complex games, like to see more people come to Horizon maybe at a younger age and experience what it is. I think that's really cool for the future of just the Horizon series as a whole as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, 100%.
As a whole, I'm pumped for it. 10 out of 10. As a player experience, I'm at like a 6. But that's just me.
No, I get you. I will say, chances are, I'm probably gonna get this game digitally on PlayStation. So if anything, we could run co-op on it.
We could.
That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty sweet.
I need to get a freaking headset that I can even use on my PlayStation. I haven't had a usable. Well, I can use this, but I don't know where the microphone attachment is. So, plus I have this like wire managed sort of through my PC, so I would hate to try to unplug this headset anymore. So I need to try to get like a cheap Bluetooth set for my PlayStation so I can do that. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And then real quick, I'm just gonna touch Mario and Luigi Brothership reviews came out this week, and they're mixed.
Yeah.
IGN gave
which I'm kind of surprised.
Gave it a 5, which I think is the lowest one I've seen. However, I have seen some 6s as well. I've seen some 7s. I've seen some 8s, and I've even seen some 9s. So it really is all over the place. It currently sits at an 80 on Metacritic, which is not what I thought for sure. This was a surefire like 85 plus game, but apparently it's 80. But I went ahead and watched some of the reviews for it, and some of the things that they're talking about, it definitely is making me a little worried about if I'm gonna like it or not. But at the end of the day, like I said, and this is just my thing, I don't know how I feel about a game until I play it. And my excitement for the game really hasn't wavered whatsoever. So
how did you initially feel about Super Mario RPG compared to when you actually played it off the jump? So
on it,
unless you loved RPG already, I guess.
I never played RPG, and I wasn't sure.
I know you really like the remake. So.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I was gonna like Super Mario RPG the remake, and then I played it, and it's like in my top 50 of all time. One of my favorite Nintendo games now. Like I absolutely love it. So who knows? Like I said, we'll really just see, but just very interesting. I was not expecting it reviewed, but what even shocks me even more is what you told me the other day, that you've seen pre-order cancellations this week, which is wild to me. That like I didn't think that stuff like that had actually that big of an immediate impact on it, which that's crazy to me, especially a Nintendo product like that. Like I can't believe how many did you say you lost? Like 5 pre-orders this week or something like that.
So there was 3 people that canceled it completely and put it on something else, and then there was another person that had it fully paid off, that canceled it and put like $10 on it because they weren't sure. Now,
wow,
and it was like, oh wow, and see it. So yeah, it was pretty heavy.
Wow,
for just like I said from now, and these reviews must have been coming out pretty early too, because this has been like from the weekend, like up till now.
Yeah.
So, so it has been like sort of a week in progress even before the last couple of days of reviews. So I don't know like what early kind of stuff some people were hearing.
Wow.
That or it was just like ill timing. But, I've for it being a Nintendo IP, it was kind of shocking the, handful of select people that's like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, like, man, Mario and Luigi. And see, it kind of worries me a little bit. Like, not even in terms of the quality of the game, but like its success, like its commercial success, because this is a franchise that people didn't even think were coming back because of its commercial success, and it somehow came back. So that worries me a little bit. Like, I don't want this game to be a commercial flop. Whether I like it or not, I don't want it to be a commercial flop. So it's like...
Yeah, no, you'd hate to see it.
Right. But... yeah, just very interesting stuff there. Nintendo also did confirm that there is going to be backwards compatibility with the Switch 2. Don't know why this was ever in question. I mean, this was a no-brainer. If they didn't, they are the biggest L's on the planet. And I don't think they want to be that. So, obvious. information there.
I would say it makes me wonder with the backwards compatibility, like, so that would, I guess, clearly mean they're sticking to the cartridge.
Yes, probably.
So, me, from like an ignorance point of view, makes me wonder, like, can they pump more power into what those cartridges can pull from the technology in the Switch? Like, what was was the problem really just the hardware? Like, or can those things
definitely
really...
is the hardware, but it might also be the cartridge. Like that's an interesting question.
Why does my camera
I guess we'll kind of...
I'm sorry.
I guess we'll kind of just have to figure it out. Like, I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see.
Right, yeah.
Because one of my questions...
That's kind of been my lingering question with backwards compatibility. Is like, okay, if they make it backwards compatibility, like, that means they're going to stick to cartridges. Or if they potentially switch to disc, are they just going to pop the cartridge slot in there anyway, just as a, well, yeah, you still can, but now there's there's something else. But, it's like, I don't think they'd go back to disc. Like, they went back to cartridge for a reason.
I also, one of my questions is, will previous games run better as well?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of games where...
Kind of like the PS4 content guaranteed to go, run better off of the 5.
Because there's a lot of games I really want to have just better frame rate. And so if it could just be slightly better, I'll appreciate that so much.
What's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom going to look like on the on the 2?
So very interested in that, but good news overall.
I still think they need to call it the Super Nintendo Switch.
100% agree. 1000% agree.
I still think
that is the only option, or I riot. That's the only option, or I riot.
Because I swear, if it's called the Nintendo Switch 2, that's going to be so.
They're not going to do the Switch 2. They don't do numbers unless it's 64 or. Yeah, but
they're gonna call it the Nintendo 3D Switch, like they did the DS and the
3D
3DS.
Switch.
They're gonna call it the 3D Switch.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna call it the Switch Flip, and you're gonna like flip it open like a DS.
Oh my, I could. That sounds like a nightmare.
No, just the Super Nintendo Switch. It's literally perfect. It's literally perfect.
It would be.
Oh man. But yeah, very much looking forward to that. Speaking of consoles releasing, tomorrow. Are you working tomorrow, by the way?
I am.
You opening?
Yes.
Ooh, I'll see you. I'll see you at 12. With my current PS5 as well.
Yeah, that's the part I'm not looking forward to. I'm gonna be there by myself, and the trading. I don't know how, because you're not going to be the only one that's going to want to trade in their system. So there's going to be a line.
Yeah. Is there any like deals right now? Like get extra trade in when you trade it in?
Not really. No.
Okay. But yeah, I will be there picking up what releases tomorrow, the PS5 Pro. I am going to be getting it, and we are going to be streaming it, getting some hands-on impressions. I will be playing Black Myth Wukong, Dragon Age Veilguard, where I will start my second run-through as a new class, and we're going to be playing Alan Wake 2. So we're going to be doing a bunch of fun stuff, playing like 3 of my favorite games on there. We might also play like Ratchet and Clank or Jedi Survivor as well. Those are 2 other games I think could be really interesting playing. But yeah, we're just going to be testing. Oh, I know. We're just going to be testing it out and seeing what all the hype's about, if there is any hype. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's a product for a very specific targeted audience. Whether you think it is important or worth it or not, it ultimately will be the best way to play it. Play any PlayStation game. We did learn today that even games that don't have a PS5 Pro Enhanced version are running better on the PS5 Pro. So like FF16, from what I heard from Austin, said that it has better frame rate even though it doesn't have a PS5 Pro Enhanced version, which I've been saying this forever is going to happen. PS5 Pro Enhanced version is not going to make a game run better. It's going to add new features, new options to the game. Being able to choose a better performance mode, being able to choose a better resolution mode. This is literally the equivalent of a PC game and getting a better PC. Mm-hmm. Things are just going to run better. That doesn't mean it's a completely different game. It's going to run better. Now, adding ray tracing, adding a different quality mode, that's a PS5 Pro Enhanced thing. That's adding a feature. That's adding a setting. That's not making a game technically run better. That comes with just its specs. That's what happens. But what I have heard and what I'm excited for is this is going to minimize the decision of do you want 4K or do you want 60 frames per second? In this case, you're just going to get both now for a lot of these games. And I'm almost so glad that I have only played very little of FF7 Rebirth because now I'm just going to be able to play the whole game on PS5 Pro and it's going to look so much better. And I'm so excited. I've been itching. I've been itching to play. I started like two months ago. It finally clicked. I was like, I finally want to beat it. But at this rate, now I'm just gonna wait because I'm so ready to experience it, man. I'm so excited. But yeah, PS5 Pro comes out tomorrow. Very, very excited.
So one thing I'm really jealous about is not being able to
test it out.
Play Rebirth on the Pro. It's like
hey,
it's like the one thing with like the major difference that I would really want to do is like see what I mean the other ones too. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure what like I said, you know, like I mean Forbidden West, yeah, how's that thing gonna look? Freaking, you know, Rebirth obviously being my game of the year this year. You know, and just, you know, I'm not biased or anything, you know. So you know, whatever.
Not one bit.
Not at all. Not at all.
But hey man, you could come over one day to test it out if you want to.
I'll have to.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. Let's see. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Is there any games coming out soon that you're looking forward to?
Not
we haven't
soon.
Already talked about.
Honestly, most of mine are next year.
I feel that
at
next
this point.
Crazy.
Kingdom Come Deliverance and Fable are probably my two big ones next year. GTA 6, sure.
Doom.
I hope.
Doom.
I didn't play. I was bad at them as a kid, so I didn't play them all that much. I've actually never played the like Eternal or anything either.
Wait, you're not excited for Ghost of Yotai?
Well, yeah, that's true. Okay, I keep forgetting that's literally next year already.
You're probably forgetting a lot. There is a lot of games coming out next year.
Like, they made the announcement. Well, I'm just like early, like on, because I'm sure you know I'm sure Ghost is going to be like a fall release.
I think it's gonna be summer.
If I had to guess,
that's my guess.
You think so?
I think so because the first one was summer, so
Fair.
They usually follow patterns with franchises.
Fair.
By the way, this is so off topic. I played some of the career mode in Planet Coaster, and one of the things is like to give you the fundamentals. We're gonna send you to Eugene, which won Best Coaster Builder in 2016 of November, and I'm like, what a specific date. And I looked it up. That's when Planet Coaster 1 came out, and I was like, wow. So they released. So that's crazy. They released Planet Coaster 1 on PC November 2016. They released Planet Coaster on console November of 2020, and then they released Planet Coaster 2 in November of 2024. A 4-year gap in between every single version, and it's all in November. I'm like, that's crazy how some games just follow a pattern like that.
Yeah, how it just works out.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Also, I think Fable's gonna be fall. I think Fable's fall.
Yeah,
for sure.
That seems like a fall.
I think
type.
That's their big fall game. Xbox's
game. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Well,
just be good. Just please be good. Just please be good. I need it to be good. I need it to be good.
I'm telling you that out of every Xbox game that is currently announced, that is the game out of all of them that needs to be good. Like that is the one. That
really, or the one that's like, you know, you're on the fence because of like where it is. Like, you know, everybody's stoked for Gears, but we probably know the next Gears game is going to be good.
Yeah.
Like
this is the one. You know, that could make people go, I think I need an Xbox for that. Like
right.
That is the game. Doom is multi-platform. You know, Call of Duty's multi-platform every year. Gears of War, I mean, that's just Xbox branded all over. Like,
I know Halo does have a bit of a niche fandom now. Yeah. Still, there's some pretty hardcore Halo Infinite lovers. So you know, I know, but still, it's the same thing for me. Like Halo Infinite doesn't weigh near as heavy as people rushing to get 360s to play Halo 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Fable really is, I think, the one that has the highest ceiling Like I genuinely do think that is the game. If I could have any of Xbox's upcoming games be a 90+ game, I think that is the one.
Yeah,
Because I think that will be the one that has the biggest effect.
Their last full release was a bust with Journey, and then Fable Legends got canceled.
Yeah, and then the studio got shut down.
Right, and then everything got kaput and sold, and then they sold the rights to Playground like years ago, and it just went radio silent until a year and a half, 2 years ago, and now we're still on anticipation with literally nothing but a cinematic trailer and like a couple of shots from behind maybe of the character, which may be gameplay, but is it gameplay? Is that all still just cinematic? Like there's a fight scene in it, but is that going to be the gameplay? Are we going to play as that character? Are we going to make the person? Are we going to have a choice as a man or a woman, or anything else that they want to do in between? Is there going to be character creator? I want a character creator in Fable for a long time, like a nice intense one. Or are we going to play as the girl in the trailer? Because if we are, who's she? I want to know.
Right.
But everybody in the cinematic trailer keeps referring to, and then I met her and she did this, and it's like, okay.
Also,
so
I'm gonna just call it right now, and look, I'm gonna just say I told you so, because I'm so confident in what I'm about to predict. Next year, the post Xbox Showcase Direct will be a Fable Direct. For the past 2 years, Xbox has chosen one game to do its own separate Direct, showcase like 40 minutes worth of details and gameplay for. Okay. After their summer showcase, their June showcase. It's an hour and a half.
Take that crown?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half of new game reveals, new trailers, release dates, and then after that, they have like a 40-minute direct of a specific game. 2 years ago, it was Starfield. This year was Call of Duty. Next year is Fable. 100% think so.
I can hope so.
The only thing I think that could take it would be if Gears released next year, but I don't think.
I was gonna say maybe Gears if Gears gets a 25.
But
release.
Out of all their games, Fable will be the biggest. That'll be the one that needs the most details because it's a big RPG. Like you could do Doom. What are you gonna spend 20-40 minutes talking about Doom? We all know what to expect. Just give us the release date and we're in. That's really all we need.
I mean, you're not fully wrong.
Yeah. And so Fable is the one you need to do a direct for. And so I'm almost 100% certain that is going to be their post showcase direct next year, which I think is completely earned and completely the right call. I really don't see any other game doing it. Like, if they did Call of Duty again, that would be that would be an L in my opinion. But yeah. All right, so let's get to our topic. We're going to try and round this thing out at 2 hours. So I've been struggling to conjure up the correct words to explain what this topic is, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Because in my head, I get this weird mentality where it's like I learn a lesson every year in gaming, kind of. And basically, I wanted to talk about what are some lessons we've learned in gaming, or what are some mindsets that we have gained, or what are some appreciations that we have learned that we care about in gaming throughout the years, and like what years did we learn them, and what led to us feeling that certain way. So I'll go ahead and start. Like, as an example, the biggest one for me is the way I found out that I loved single-player games was Ghost of Tsushima. I decided, one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to play a game I would typically never play. This is a game that I just have no idea what it's about. I'm going to just try it out. Ghost of Tsushima. Boom. Favorite game of all time. And that from that day on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play single-player games. And it was from that day on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just play every game that comes out because who knows? I don't know if I'm going to like it. There's only one way to find out. And here we are 4 years later, and I literally play pretty much everything. And it has turned gaming into my biggest passion. So in 2020, that was one of my lessons learned is get out of your comfort zone and try something new. Regardless if you know it or if you're interested in it or not. Sometimes just pull the trigger. You never know what'll happen. And so that is one lesson I learned. Another one that I'll give as an example is a little bit different. It's a little bit different, like kind of this whole conversation is. This year I've gained a whole new appreciation for DLC. In years prior, I've always been like, DLC is cool, and I'm glad the game's getting a DLC. Will I actually play it or not? Probably not. Or am I really excited for it? Not really. Whereas this year, there have been so many games where I'm like, I would be so hyped for DLC. I actually want DLC. I had Alan Wake 2's DLC in like my top 5 most anticipated games releasing when they were announced, because I'm just so excited for DLC. There are games coming out where I'm like, I hope that game gets DLC. This year, I've just gained a whole new appreciation for DLC, and which is crazy. Also, I feel like in the last couple of years, we've had a huge shift in what DLC is, with Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk, Shadow of the Erdtree for Elden Ring. Like, DLC can be way more than what we are used to now. And I low-key like the word expansion a lot more, depending on what the DLC is. Expansions are huge. Expansions could low-key be their own games. And I really love that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I've just gained a whole new appreciation and respect and love for DLCs. And so,
I did also play Cyberpunk. I don't know if I think I might have told you that maybe.
Yes,
but
you did.
I put 100 hours into Cyberpunk since the last time I was on the podcast, I believe. So that was an incredible experience. Playing it with Phantom Liberty too was good. I looked up when to play Phantom Liberty, because it does sort of play a role, and it basically just tells you to like do it right before you beat the game, which was good advice, I think. But yeah, the 100 hours I put into that was so worth it. I'm so glad I finally picked it up.
That is a game I have on my very long list of backlog games. But it's at the top of that list. Like it is a game I will play fully within the next like 6 months for sure. But yeah, just a whole new appreciation for that. And I think the mentality of that, right? Because that's also kind of this category, is like, what are some new mentalities that we gain, or some new mindsets? Is when you love a game so much, you want more of it, and sometimes you don't want to have to wait. In today's day and age, development takes like at least 5 years, right? And so it's like, if you want more of that game, sometimes DLC is a perfect way to do it. Like I felt that way with Prince of Persia. I'm like, man, I love this game so much. Who knows if we'll ever get another Prince of Persia like
How was
this.
the DLC, by the way?
I played like an hour of it. It's a lot harder than I thought it was, and a lot more platforming than I thought. It is very, very well done, though. It is very, very well done. Yeah, it's very good.
Cool.
But yeah, so yeah, those are two off the top of my head. I'll let you go ahead and say one.
Yeah, so I would have to say that it definitely comes from me being a kid and playing Pokemon, and then growing up to modern age, and it's to not discount turn-based games so much.
Oh, what a great one!
because what I've learned with really, and only like a select titles. There are some that I've been recommended to, like a Dragon. And like the Xenoblade games, and some of those that I've been pushed onto. But, Baldur's Gate being turn-based, Persona 5 Royale being turn-based, even just the first like 5, 6, 10 hours or so of like Metaphor, that is a turn-based game. A turn-based game, a good turn-based game, is always going to have an incredible story behind it.
Yeah.
And the fact that I would just put those on the back burner because I would just compare them to Pokemon, like I wouldn't, I played turn-based stuff like Pokemon, but other than that, that wasn't anything that I really like. And that was so dumb and ignorant of me, and selfish and foolish to not provide myself with that kind of experience, because now also that I've gone back and developed this as one of my favorite franchises ever, Final Fantasy VII, finally giving that original one a go. After only playing like 15, which I love 15, by the way. But after only playing 15 and, doing some of the other ones, actually going back and appreciating how good it is. But, because I didn't try to get good at turn-based games, because it's just that was dumb. That was dumb of me.
Yeah.
and I've learned my lesson. And even though some of these I'm still not good at, I'm still playing a lot of them on normal/easy mode. I can appreciate how much effort is put behind these, regardless of it being a slightly different fighting or battle or gameplay mechanic that I'm more used to. So that's probably one for me, is that you pretty much, if you find a good turn-based game, you're going to find an even better story behind it. So
very good one. I low-key probably was actually going to say the same thing, because like one of my I guess I'll go to my next one here, is different than Ghost of Tsushima, whereas like I wasn't doubting Ghost of Tsushima because I didn't know what to expect at all, right? Whereas there are some games where I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like it because of past experiences or because of the series or the franchise. Do not count a game out until you have played it. And my perfect, I have two examples, and this one's real, and this has really shaped my, like, what kind of gamer I am today. There are two games in my top 5 games of all time currently that I straight up overlooked and I doubted, and I was wrong. The first one being Returnal. Returnal really opened my eyes to just sometimes games will completely go beyond anything you expected, or games will prove you wrong, and never go into a game with an already set expectation or mindset. Go into a game with an open mind. I think that's the overall conclusion. Go into a game with an open mind every time. Because here's the story of Returnal, and this has been one of the most influential stories and just moments I've ever had in gaming. When Returnal first released in 2021, my friend Christian, you guys know him, Christian, he texted me. He was like, yo, Returnal comes out this weekend, right? And I'm like, and I responded, yeah, I know. I don't really care. I don't think I'm going to play it. And he was like, oh, really? Why not? And I said, personally, I just don't think it's going to be worth the $70, and I think it just looks okay. And I told him, I think I'm just going to, if anything, I'll wait until Black Friday, and I'll buy it then and try it out. Well, 8 months later, that's exactly what I did. Black Friday came around, I bought it on a discount, and basically 1 hour into the game, I realized I made the biggest mistake I've ever made in gaming, and I completely doubted and overlooked that game because it is now my second favorite game of all time. Just because of what I saw or the way I'm feeling does not accurately portray what the product will actually be. You never know what the game's quality will be like until the game releases and you play it for yourself. Keep an open mind every time, because it completely subverted all my expectations. And the same thing could be said for Silent Hill 2 this year. I said for the longest time, I don't think it looks good. It came out, it proved everyone wrong.
A lot of people didn't think it looked good.
A lot of people did, and it proved everyone wrong. At the bottom, at the end of the day, if you make a good game, it will be known. It will be known. You will gain attention. You will gain credibility. And then the other one to go along with this, and this goes back to what I said, based off past experience or based off the franchise, don't overlook something or doubt it. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is my 4th favorite game of all time currently. And I am not a fan of the first one. And so I went into it. I literally bought it because I'm like, why not? It's a big game release. I say I play everything. I might as well just play it to say I did it, so I can do a review on it, make content on it. I played it, and it's now my 4th favorite game of all time because I just got super hooked in it, and I just absolutely loved its gameplay and everything to it. And that was also the game that made me also realize I love turn-based games. I'm like, wow, turn-based games can low-key cook if done right. And so no matter what the franchise is, no matter what your past experiences are, just go into a game with an open mind every time. I'm not saying like you can't wait for a game to go on sale or anything. Like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't doubt. You know, don't overlook. Don't always count a game out until you tried it for yourself.
Right.
So, yeah, there is my next one. Do you have any other ones?
I mean, I tried to think of a couple of them, but I mean, really, that was really the only. Is just my closed-minded view of just not taking those kind of games to heart.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel bad too that I was so late to it, because for a long time, like a good chunk of the Final Fantasy games were on PlayStation Plus. And you know, I plan to go through and play 8 and 9 and even like 10, because I've got another buddy that says 10 is like one of his favorite ones, even over 7. And I've heard how really good 8 and 9 story are too. So like now I'll have to go out of my way to try to play those another way, or buy them. I guess I could buy them; they don't have to be free. But you know, yeah, no, that was just a huge one for me. Is being you know, I guess you can take this away from even like playing games like Elden Ring. Being intimidated by a game doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it. Because you know, I owned Elden
Black
Ring.
Myth Wukong.
Yeah, that's one I would probably need to venture back into, because that game chews me up and spits me out. But it's okay. It's okay. Eventually, I'll go back and visit it. I just don't know when. Maybe a year from now. Who knows?
Maybe when the expansion comes out.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, just because you're intimidated by the game doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it. Because yeah, like when I learned how complex some of the turn-based games are, that was another reason why I didn't pick them up. Like I got 10, 15 hours into Persona 5 the first time, and when it starts really getting hard, it was like, oh man, like I don't know how much farther I can really play in this game. And it wasn't until last summer that I put about 100 hours into it, and then learned about the Royal Edition being so much better, and then stopping my progress and getting back into it again. But like I was intimidated by it, because here I am, kind of getting my butt kicked, and I'm not on hard difficulty. You don't have to be. Just because you're intimidated by a game doesn't mean you have to play in the hardest difficulty. Doesn't mean you have to get the perfect strat down. Just figure out a way to play the game, have some fun, because there's going to be something bigger behind it than your intimidation. And Elden Ring's the same way. Some people give up because it's way too hard. I did with the DLC. I still never fully beat the DLC, but that's my own burdens that I get to take. But it doesn't mean I didn't thoroughly try over and over and over again, regardless of intimidation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I will say, like, it's crazy because I'm looking at my Topsters list right now. I genuinely do think going into a game open-minded is easily the best way to do it, because there are only 2 games in my top 10 currently that, like, I kind of knew I was already going to like. That being God of War Ragnarok and Planet Coaster. Like, obviously, I love Planet Coaster because that's just my niche genre. And then God of War Ragnarok, I mean, I really love the first one, and this is just an improvement. In a lot of areas, right?
Not do well again, yeah.
Right. Whereas the other 8, though,
Ghost. Why are we doubting Ghost? Yeah. Why are we doubting Ghost of Yotei? Why are we doing that? Why do we think Sucker Punch is gonna let us down? Because it's a girl? Grow up.
Yes. 100%.
Sheesh. Aloy. All right? Lara Croft. Okay? Claire Redfield. All right? Hey. Grow up.
Agreed.
Samus. Huh?
Okay, to be fair, 50% of the community probably don't even know Samus is a girl. All right.
and the funny thing is, the people that are complaining are the age of the people that know who Samus is. So,
oh man, it's crazy. But like when I look at the other 8 games, Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, I already said my story with that one. I literally just said, you know what? It's something I wouldn't play normally. I'm gonna play it. Boom, favorite game of all time. Returnal, literally doubted that game. Said it wasn't gonna be worth it. Boom, second favorite game of all time. Alan Wake 2, I liked the first one. I thought the second one was just gonna be good. Completely shattered all expectations.
Did you play Control?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, just curious.
again, I think it's really great, but I didn't like love it or like it wasn't anything near my favorite. And so I was just looking forward to
that ties into 2, does it not?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could go on and on for about Alan Wake.
I'm sure.
Hang on. I'm gonna remember something I want to bring up here in a second. Mario plus Rabbids. I literally already said the first what I said. I wasn't a fan of the first one, but for some reason I just absolutely loved the second one. Metroid Dread. Never played a Metroid game until Dread. Boom. 6th favorite game of all time. And this is my current list. My list changes all the time. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I've always liked Ratchet and Clank, but I've never loved the Ratchet and Clank game. Boom. Rift Apart. Bam. Black Myth Wukong. I've played a lot of Souls games. I like a lot of Souls games. I've never fallen in love with one. I typically don't even get really excited for them. Boom. Black Myth Wukong. Bam. Titanfall 2. I thought the first one was okay. Boom. Titanfall 2. Favorite first-person shooter of all time. Like, it's just these games that completely subvert your expectations. You just end up falling in love with. Sometimes it just comes at the most random of times. Like Immortals Phoenix Rising, Death's Door, Need for Speed Payback. Who would have ever guessed? You know, like it's all these weird games that just Mario RPG, like we talked about, like Hi-Fi Rush, just games that come out of nowhere. So just never.
I heard there's possibly life with Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes.
Hi-Fi Rush too.
Oh yeah. There absolutely is life. Yeah, very exciting stuff. My next one I'm gonna say is replay games, because.
For sure.
When just as time goes on, you gain new perspectives on things, and you just learn more interest. And for instance, when I played Devil May Cry 5 back in like 2019 when it first came out, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I replayed it this year. I realized how much I actually love that game, because I just understand games, because this is on a post Ghost of Tsushima world now, where I played it, and I realized a whole new appreciation for it.
Did you play the original Devil May Cry?
Yes. Whoa, okay, sorry. I jumped way ahead. I thought you were going to say if I played the original Devil May Cry 5. I've played one, like the original.
Mm-hmm.
And I've played DMC Devil May Cry.
Okay.
I haven't played 2, and I haven't played 3. And I've heard 3 is the best.
So. I recommend, playing 2 and 3 for sure.
Yeah. And then I also replayed the Resident Evils this year, and Resident Evil is now one of my favorite franchises. Like, I've fallen in love with it.
When you say you played them, do you mean all of them, or
I replayed 2, 3, and 4, and I plan on doing 5, 6, 7, 8.
And like by 2, 3, and 4, you mean the remasters, right?
Yes, the remakes. Yes.
The remakes, okay.
Yes.
3 is a huge letdown.
As a remake,
but
yes.
you didn't play
as a remake.
You didn't play the original. So
yes.
Coming to it from a point of view of not playing the original, Nemesis is good. But if you're an original, it's just man, it's a solid 5. But it's okay. The 2 remake is probably one of the better remakes ever done.
I love take. I think Resident Evil 2 is the best Resident Evil.
2 is very good.
I think 2 is flawless.
3 is my favorite of the originals. I stopped playing after 3. I wasn't very good at the first one, the mansion one. 2 was pretty good. 3 I fell in love with. I played 3 over and over and over again as a kid. And 4 and 5 I like fell off on, didn't play 6. Played 7, didn't play 8. I think 7's really good. I think 3 and 7 are my favorites of the franchise.
Interesting.
Personally.
I mean, yeah, my favorite.
7 was just a really interesting take where they took it. Even though like it's not necessarily like the zombie game, I just think 7 overall as like a story, because that was a game that I not only played a good chunk of, but I also watched like 20 people play it, full playthroughs, not just clips. Like I watched multiple people play it front to back. So Biohazard to me is just a very good take, even though it's not necessarily the original pattern that Resident Evil was.
Yeah, I mean, my favorites now are 2 and 3 for sure. I think 2 is flawless.
Yeah, two is
genuinely.
the 2 remake was done very well.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That gave that one so much justice.
Oh man.
Justice.
Um. Yeah, there's a bunch of other things that I've learned and things that I've grown to appreciate. Like this year, I found out like I actually really do like live service games when they're done right. Like I've had the urge to go back and play a bunch of live service games this year, and I'm really looking forward to Marvel Rivals coming out in December. Oh, game looks so fun. Horror games have quickly become one of my favorite genres, top 3 for me now. Specifically survival horror. Dead Space, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Alan Wake 2, like all that stuff is just right up my alley. You know, there's just a lot that that I've learned. Yeah, I really do think like it's really interesting to look because like everybody has their lane, right? Like their genre or type of game that they like more than others.
They just cling to more often.
Right? But that doesn't mean they can't like another thing just as much. It may not happen as common, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like for instance, I mean, Black Myth Wukong is a perfect example. Like I just said, I've played so many Souls games. I've beaten Sekiro. Okay, so like, you know, I have no inexperience with Souls games. It's just never been a genre that I've fallen in love with or like get really excited for. But for some reason, Black Myth Wukong just hit different for me. And granted, that is because it's a little bit different. There are some big changes to it. But that's my whole point exactly, is just because you have a lane doesn't mean there's going to be something that comes along the line that is just different and you feel differently about.
Right.
But, nah. I also think one thing something everybody needs to learn in today's day and age, do not take what critics or social media says to heart. Absolutely do not. Because they
form your own opinions.
Yes, form your own opinions, 100%. And spoiler alert: the only way to do that is to play it yourself. So you know, playing the game day one, or playing the game when it goes on sale, or you know, actually buying the game. Everybody complains about, man, this game failed. Why are they not making a Dead Space 2 when you're the one who didn't buy Dead Space 1? Like, you know, it don't matter. Now, here's the thing. I get there are people who, you know, can't afford to buy a game or, you know, don't have time on their hands to play a game. That's fair. But then why are you going on to social media and hating on it? Or starting controversy. If you can't do it, then you just can't do it. Why do you have to make a fuss about it? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it doesn't make sense because then you make yourself look like the fool if you do that. And so, yeah, just play the game. Like everybody's complaining about Dragon Age. It's like, oh man, I can't believe it only got 80,000. Did you buy it? Are you playing it? That might be part of the issue. Instead of you talking about it on Twitter, maybe you should be playing it. But you know, it's just really unfortunate how things work. And then critics, man, like this year specifically, I will say, I think some of the best games this year have been like low 80 games. Stellar Blade was like an 82 or something. Black Myth Wukong's an 81. Helldivers 2 is like a low 80s. Liza P last year was like a low 80s. Like there are so many games that critics may not give it the highest score, but ends up being some of the best games of the year. Do not take what critics say to heart. Do not take what social media says to heart. Listen to your heart when you play it. Listen to your mind when you see it and you hear it and you talk about it. Like, this is not rocket science, people. Like, it's video games. Would you believe me if I told you play video games? Would you believe me if I said that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. It blows my mind sometimes how hard it is to comprehend that for some people. But yeah, man. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot to think about when it comes to a lot of that stuff. Do you have any other ones that you can think of, like just off the top of your head? Any other things?
No, I don't think so. I think we've sort of glazed over where we needed to
Awesome.
glaze.
Like, and here's what I'll say, because I have basically, so I no longer do like a top 20 most anticipated games. I have a topsters list here. And it's currently, wait, let's see. It is currently a 9x5. So that is 45. I have 45 games on my most anticipated list, which basically means I am day one sold on the game. Basically, I will be playing this game day one. I try to play as many games as possible.
Right.
I try to be interested in as many games as possible. Because personally, for me, that's where I find enjoyment, is trying out new things, regardless if I think I'm going to like it or not. I won't know until I play it. And the only way to figure out that if I do is to play it. Doesn't matter what company, doesn't matter what genre, doesn't matter what studio, doesn't matter what platform, it doesn't matter what franchise, it doesn't matter what gender the main character is, doesn't matter what race the main character is. What matters to me is if I enjoy the game. And I only know by playing the game.
Yep.
And
I'll poop on it if it deserves getting pooped on.
Right. Facts.
You know.
Like, yeah, man. It's it's just crazy real quick. Like, right now, I'll run you through what are my most anticipated games right now. Ghost of Yotai, Doom Dark Ages, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Control 2, Perfect Dark, Gears of War E-Day, Mass Effect, Monster Hunter Wilds, Dying Light the Beast, Splinter Cell Remake, Fable, Xenoblade...
Wilds looks so good.
Oh, man. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Clockwork Revolution, Stalker 2 comes out in like 2 weeks, Expedition 33, Indiana Jones The Great Circle, Replaced, Judas, Death Stranding 2, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, Steady Decay 3, Avowed, Marvel Rivals, Pragmata, Mario Luigi Brothership, Chronos New Dawn, Wolverine, Borderlands 4, FBC Firebreak, 1943 Marvel, Rise of Hydra, The First Berserker Kazan, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Reanimal, Pokemon Legend C through A, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Mafia the Old Country, 33 Immortals, Dynasty Warriors Origin, Subnautica 2, Little Nightmares 3, Phantom Blade 0, South of Midnight, and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Games of all companies, games of all genres, games of all styles, games of all ideas and concepts. And I don't just say I'm excited for them. I actually play them. Like, because it would be so weird if I have all these games here and I end up only playing like half of them. Like, at that point,
like 5.
Right, literally. So, and to me, that's what it is. I don't care if I end up not liking the game and I spend $60 on it. That's part of the journey for me. That is just a mindset of me. You know, like that's just how I figure it out, because it's kind of that like mindset. You hear it in some things, like you don't know what you like if you don't know what you don't like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so if all you stuck to was your lane and you don't experience something that you know for sure is not in your lane, that's going to limit your knowledge and your appreciation for things by a lot.
Right.
And so
you just play Madden and Call of Duty. Cool, man.
Right. Literally.
I mean, good for you. You know, if that's all that you can connect with,
facts,
and you don't crap on other people that do stuff, then fine. But like, you know, if all you play is Madden and Call of Duty, and you call people idiots because they want to play God of War, or they want to, you know, they want to do this or they want to do that, or y'all want to dress up like Vikings and kill dragons, yeah, I do. Actually,
Yo,
I
that sounds
want
dope.
to I want to dress up like a Viking and kill a dragon. Tell me where that game is. That game sounds awesome. Vikings and dragons. That sounds like some lore mix, and I want to play that game. Actually, I just came up with that on top of my head. That sounds dope.
Hey, it sounds pretty sweet.
But I mean, that's kind of Skyrim, but not really.
Yeah, but that's the
But
thing. It if you just want to play Call of Duty and Madden, fantastic. Like,
right, but leave me alone if I don't.
You do that, right? Like,
and I'll leave you alone too.
That's
as
why,
long as you're open minded.
That's why our podcast is called Play Away. Do what you want, play what you want.
I also like Call of Duty and Madden.
How you want to do it, right? Exactly. I've been playing Black Ops 6, and Madden actually. Yeah, me too. I also like Madden and Call of Duty. It's like it depends on what is gonna come off really cringe. What kind of gamer do you want to be? Like, it really just depends. If you say you want to like try new things and start liking more things, there's only one way to do it. I hate to break it to you. If you just want to say, I just want to play games I know I love, well, then I wish you luck in doing that. If you want to be that person, it's like, I only want to play games I don't think I'm going to like. Like, if you're a person like that, go right ahead. If you're a person who only wants to play indies, like,
works the same way with like athletes and stuff. You know, there's some people that only play basketball. That's all you do. You grew up playing basketball. Now you're a professional. Basketball is what you do. And then there are some people who just love to be competitive. And yeah, they play basketball, but they also play like pickleball and tennis. And they're really good at bowling. And they also, you know, they're really good at, like, you know, breaking their 6-mile pace or something. They just love being competitive and being sporty. Like, it's the same way, like, with games. Like, yeah, you can stick to what you do, but, you know, some people are, you know, broaden their horizons and do something different because that's their thing. They just want to get what they're getting out of it, regardless of, like, what they're getting. And for me, it's a good story and at least fun gameplay. And if I can get that with a turn-based game or a linear game or a big open RPG or a game that's futuristic or a game that's set in the Stone Ages, like, as long as you can give me what I'm asking for, I want that high. And a good story and great gameplay is that high for gaming, and so is the adrenaline rush of just being competitive in sports. Like, some people are going to do everything, and some people are going to do, you know, one simple thing. But, like, you know, nobody needs to bash on each other just because we're not the same person.
100% agree with you, Jordan.
And that relates to so many broadened horizons. You can go much more than sports. You can go much more than gaming. It's just life.
It is.
It's just life.
Facts. Like, I guess my mindset, and this is just the kind of gamer I am, right? As cringe as that sounds. It's, and sometimes just this thought will get me excited for a game that I previously wasn't. There are obviously companies I like more than others, obviously. But for me, if I'm not playing everything, if I am not doing my due diligence in learning about every game, learning about every company, and learning what these games are, I will feel like I am missing out. Because if gaming is my biggest passion, if gaming is what I enjoy, if I'm so brave enough to go on a podcast and do a YouTube channel and say I play everything and I'm interested in just good games, and I specifically avoid good games, I don't feel like I am experiencing my biggest passion to the absolute fullest. Therefore, if I have a lack of Nintendo games on my most anticipated list, and there are some Nintendo games coming out that I'm currently not interested in, I'm going to make it my priority to learn about those Nintendo games and put them on my list because I want to try them out. I want to feel like I'm experiencing everything gaming has to offer to the fullest. That is just the person I am, right? Yeah. Like, if there is a Square Enix game that's coming out that I am not necessarily interested in, but I have no other Square Enix game on my most anticipated list, I will play that game just to get something from a company that is I'm currently not looking into, because I want to experience everything gaming has to offer. And But
that, or you look at it with an open mind because you like Square Enix,
right.
and apart from a couple of clunkers here and there from some of the studios that they've sponsored or hosted or paid for, like, they also put out, they could potentially have some of your most respected games on there. So, like the same point you took with like Nintendo, like, if you're not a huge Nintendo person, you're at least potentially going to give something a try, because you never know what's going to happen. The anticipation might not be there, but because it's Square Enix, it'll surprise you. Or because the gameplay is great, Mario plus Rabbids for you, it becomes one of your top games because you gave it a shot.
Yep, literally. And I was just about to say something, I kind of forgot.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I thought about it like during your talk. Oh man, what was I gonna say? I really lost it.
Horizon Zero Dawn remaster.
I really lost it, man. I really lost it. Yeah, I don't know. I really lost it. I really can't do it. But yeah, it's just I really just love exploring things. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I got it. Let me make it abundantly clear, because I don't want anybody feeling like I'm pressuring them to play as many games as I do, or buy as many games as I do, or spend as many hours in a week playing as many games as I do. I completely get everybody is in a different situation. If you don't have enough time, if you don't have enough money, if you don't have enough passion, sometimes, and you even told me this the other day, you're just not really in the mood to specifically play any kind of game right now. That happens.
Yeah.
That happens for me a bunch of the times.
I'll be wrapped up in something in a 3-day stint. I don't want to play nothing.
Right. I completely get that. But
it's not even necessarily being burnt out. Sometimes it's just, you know what? I don't want to.
Yeah. Right. There is a difference. But here's my thing. There is a difference between that and actively avoiding something. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, from not to take the word ignorance as like an insulting word, but to just simply avoid it because of ignorance, because you don't know and you don't want to open your mind to it. Like that's different.
Like
that's just outcasting it from a point of view that you can't really stand on, because you're just seeing it in black and white because of the first thing you saw, or you're just seeing it because of the bad things that you've seen on the internet about it.
Yeah.
Like, and some of those bad things may stack up. You might come to your own conclusions, 20 minutes into playing something that, it's like, that's enough for me. And maybe, still, you can give up on something early and it's not great, but it's hard to carry weight into an opinion when you don't have a lot of, context to back that opinion up.
Right. Like an example, if let's just use a company as an example, like the first one coming to my head is EA. If you were just if you have just typically not enjoyed EA games, then you have two choices. You could either specifically avoid EA games, or you can go in with an open mind to any EA game, because you might be proven wrong. You have two choices, though. That's really it. Like, and
it is hard because sometimes those hosts really do have clunkers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
but again, this just goes for me. Like, for me, I would say even recently, Square Enix, outside of Final Fantasy, they have not put out anything that I've really enjoyed. But if they were to announce a new AAA game tomorrow, I'm buying it, because that's what I care about. I care about video games at the end of the day. I don't care about my personal agenda. I don't care about my personal, like, how do I want my reputation to look like? Like, when you think of me in video games, I want you to think of these specific games. No. I just want to experience good games. And I won't know if they're good games until I play them. And so, that's pretty much my big takeaway. But, all right. Very nice conversation. Very nice conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty much going to do it for this week. Unless you have anything else to add.
I don't think any closing. No, I think we pretty much covered all of it. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster is really good.
Hey, man. Dragon Age is very good. Planet Coaster 2 is very good. Mario & Luigi Brothership. We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out this. Actually, I'll be finding out Friday. Actually, I'll be picking that up tomorrow when I come in.
I was about to say, it comes out tomorrow, too.
Yeah,
so.
I just won't be playing until Friday because I'll be playing PS5 Pro and more Planet Coaster 2 for sure. So, yeah. But I'm super duper excited. I'm super duper excited just for everything coming out. By the way, Indiana Jones, I'm very excited for in December. Looking forward to playing that one as well.
Troy Baker.
Yes, sir. But yeah, all right. That is probably going to do it. I have one final thing to say. Control 2 is finna be a masterpiece. I'm gonna just say it right now. I will be saying that like every week until Control 2 eventually comes out, like 3-4 years down the line. Because if you've played the Lake House DLC for Alan Wake 2, there's something in there. Control 2 finna be a masterpiece. That's all I gotta say.
I'm sure.
That's all I gotta say. I've never been more confident in my life. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Remember, guys, player. Wow, that actually kind of like worked surprisingly well in a way.
You like that?
I kind of do. All right, well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Johnny Morales. Remember, play away. Peace.